I bought the cheapest Oppo phone, and by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you whether this phone is any good. This is the Oppo A17K, and it features a 6.56-inch 750 by 1612 resolution IPS display. It's reasonably bright at 480 nits brightness, but it can crank up to 600 nits for short periods of time if you need some extra boost in, say, harsh sunlight. It's reasonably visible outdoors, though you really want to be using this phone under the shade or indoors because it's not that bright. The viewing angles are pretty good on this, and the colors are surprisingly reasonably punchy and fun for the price. It's only 60Hz unfortunately, but the 83.3% screen to body ratio with its thin bezels make it look and feel pretty quality of a smartphone. The screen isn't the snappiest with 60Hz, but it isn't exactly laggy either, so for casual gamers, you should be fine. The body is a full metal design, and I really like the corrugated pattern you get here near the camera. It's classy and clean, especially in this gold color. A big bonus is the IPX4 water resistant, which is better than most of its competition, though not particularly impressive. It's better than nothing on a cheap phone. On the right, you find a side fingerprint sensor, just like you do on Sony's. I love this fingerprint sensor placement. And on the bottom, you find a headphone jack, speakers, and a micro USB port. Micro USB on a phone launched in 2022? The horror! Well, that's because this phone is not really built for you and I, tech geeks and tech enthusiasts. This phone is built for the budget buyer. It's literally Oppo's cheapest phone for a reason. And for the budget buyer, they're probably upgrading phones not that often because they're always on a budget, which means they're probably upgrading from a micro USB phone. And if they're coming from micro USB, then they probably want to stick to micro USB because all their cables, all their accessories are already micro USB. So it makes sense that Oppo is setting up the phone in a way that targets the target audience better. Although I really think phones should all be USB-C in 2022, it's just time to change. And I'm looking at you, Apple. Hurry up and launch the iPhone 14 with USB-C. God damn it. Inside, we have a Helio G35 chip from MediaTek with 3 gigs of RAM, which is alright, and 64 gigs of storage. It isn't the fastest phone ever, but you could run COD Mobile on this and still have a pretty decent time if you turn the settings all the way down. It is smooth enough to have fun and not have any frame drops or hiccups. It won't be amazing, but it will still be no problem. Here are the benchmarks for this phone, by the way. While the gaming time won't be perfect, it's going to last really long since this phone has a massive 5000 mAh battery, which is awesome. And it should last for days if you're not throwing overly intensive tasks at it. And this is another interesting example of market trends determining what goes into a product. Just like with micro USB, Oppo could have put a better screen or a better camera into a phone like this with the budget. But instead, it did what the target audience actually cares about and improved its battery life, slamming a massive 5000 mAh battery here instead. I personally think it was a good move because there's a battery in here that rivals even the top-end smartphones, which I think is absolutely awesome. As for the cameras, well, it's not great. The selfie camera is only 5 megapixels and the rear is only 8. And even stacked up against my 4-year-old Galaxy S10 Plus, it just looks bad. But it's enough for sharing stuff on social media. After all, social media is not about the quality of the pixels, it's about the content in those pixels. It shoots up to 1080p, 30 FPS video, and in good light, it works well enough, just like the photos, but in dark, it just kind of struggles really much. I personally think though, it is better than nothing, and for a cheap camera, I'm not going to complain too much about it.
Outdoor selfie camera test.
If you're watching videos on the other hand, this is a good time. The speakers are clear, though not very loud, and the screen is a joy when in a dimly lit room. The A17K also runs Android 12, by the way, and it uses Oppo's Android Skin, which I actually surprisingly enjoy. It's not too bloated or ugly, and it's nowhere near as intrusive as Xiaomi's MIUI, so I absolutely approve of it, though I don't think it's the best skin ever. So then, with this cheapest Oppo phone, is it any good? Well, it's really a lot of phone for the money. At 200 Singapore dollars, it's a whole lot of phone because you can game on it, watch movies, do everything that you need to from a smartphone. On its own, it's a good phone and one that you should consider. But whether it stacks up to its budget competition, the Vivo Y02s and the Redmi 10A, and whether you get a chance to win one of these phones in a giveaway, well, you're gonna have to subscribe because in that 3-way comparison coming really soon, I will break down the differences between the 3 cheapest phones I could find of 2022, tell you which one you should buy, and then give away all 3 of them so you have a chance to win one. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video literally tomorrow. Bye.